Good morning. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen Thursday, January 2nd meeting. Happy New Year, everyone. Glad to see everybody here. And if you could all stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Can we have, have you guys had a chance to look over the minutes, the agenda, need a motion to approve the agenda as a.
We would first. The sheets back there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And have you had a chance to go over the regular minutes of December 4th and the special meeting December 9th?
Yes.
Excellent. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting on December 4th as written?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And the special meeting on December 9th?
So moved.
Motion?
Second.
Second. All those in favor? I don't believe we have any correspondence at this point. And in light of the fact that we have a lot of people in the room, I'm gonna skip the first selectmen's report and go straight to public comment. So happy to see you all here, glad to have you. We love having people at our meetings. If you would you come up and just give us your name and address where you live, and please feel free to comment.
I'm a big mouth. My name's Stephen Cohen. We're from
Steve, I'm sorry,
Stephen Cohen,
Cohen, thank you.
and we live in Simple Hill Association on Lakeview Road. And do you want us to tell you why we're here? So I think all of us are here. We're both from the upper and the lower reservoir. We were informed 2 weeks ago when we had a minor snowstorm that the town has decided not to plow our roads. So after 40 years, I understand, of the roads being plowed by the town, that's stopped without notification. And we see this as a risk to both our residents, we're taxpayers, and we're trying to understand what you're gonna do about that and how that risk to our people in an emergency situation is gonna be addressed.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Jason Cardinal, 3 Triangle Drive. So I'm fairly new to the association as a civil engineer. I've always kind of questioned the roads in our neighborhood and trying to understand, so I just respectfully ask that whatever the rules are, that the town kind of puts in writing and indicates to the association, you know, how we're supposed to be. A couple instances, there was some emergency vehicles coming through, and I heard word through the association and various members that the roads are supposed to be kept. And then we have a dock near the neighborhood, that's a dock with the association, and we put a structure in front of it to prevent other people from going into it, and the town ordered us to remove it for emergency services, so it's just conflicting, and I'm just trying to understand what the rules are, and just ask that maybe we can get together and kind of work this out.
Thank you.
My name's Steve Hollander. I live at 42 Dogwood. And we've owned there maybe 8 years now. And I have always been impressed with the quality of the guy. I don't know who does it. I hear him go by, but you know, we always had, our roads were always well maintained in the snow, you know, in the winter. And you know, we moved from South Windsor where we had higher taxes, but they would come by and pick up our leaves twice in the fall. They would take our garbage every week. They'd take our recycling every week. You know, they did a lot of stuff, and we pay less taxes here, but I just think this is a safety issue that is unnecessary, and it'll get solved when something terrible happens and the town has to pay millions of dollars, and we'll make sure we get it right for the next 40 years, but I think it's important that we take care of the people that live here.
Stephen?
I'm Susan Hollander and I live at 42 Dogwood and we love it here. I am retired. I used to work in the insurance business and I did defense. I was an investigator. We handled municipalities. And I just look at this as we love this town and we have a special needs son that lives not even a half mile away from us and he doesn't drive. And I'm a caretaker to my father who has Alzheimer's and my mother who has dementia, and I watch my granddaughter, so I have to get in and out of there a lot. We have medication delivered for my father. He has autoimmune issues in addition to his Alzheimer's. And I know we have businesses in the area that have deliveries. We have older people. I'm unfortunately one of those older people, but you have food delivered. And in the winter, these are gonna be all problems. I mean, an older person falls, they break their hip. It's a big liability, and the town has done this for many, many years, and we relied upon that to our detriment, apparently, but I'm hoping that the town, does plow. There's many of us, there's 40 houses maybe in our little development. If you have 2 people in each, it's a lot of people affected, and we're not the only association. So I would like to have no injuries, no damages, no liability for the town. So that's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Ward Hunt, I live at 3 Ward Road. I've had correspondence with all 3 of you, I've sent emails. So we are concerned. This has always been a safety issue. The town has always recognized, and we're going back 30, 40 years, that winter weather is not a maintaining of the roads, fixing a pothole. These are emergency services that we have looked to depend upon, and we've also only been prepared that you were going to take care of it. So I've had correspondence with everyone on this board. Some of the answers that we've gotten from Public Works has been disheartening, some of the responses. The lack of communication has been awful. So I just wanna make sure that that is clear, that we are not told anything. And it's putting our communities that we care very much about in vulnerable, dangerous situations.
Thank you.
Good morning, Michael Sewell, 21 Birch Road, Upper Reservoir, Moodish Lake Shores, property owners. Our association was originally developed back in 1954 as Moodish Lake Shores Association. And since then, the town has plowed and sanded. We became a special tax district in 1975, changed our name, and we've met with many selectmen over the years. And it's always been, we've been grandfathered in for plowing. They wouldn't help us any other way. They couldn't put town workers in and this and that. Although there has been a couple occasions over the past that they have helped us. They did offer to let us buy signs and stuff through the town at the town's price and stuff like that. But we all realized that the only thing we would be getting would be the plowing, the sanding, and we were told by many selectmen over the years. So it's not an oversight on the town, as the foreman had said. This is, going on. It's a precedent, and we were told we were grandfathered in. It was actually probably in some selectmen meetings going way back. But basically what they decided was the ones they were doing, they would continue to do with grandfather in, and any new associations would not be if the roads were owned by the association, which our roads are owned by the association, but they're not private. we're not a gated community, we allow anybody in there. The only thing we have private is our beach and boat launch. But we maintain our roads, and in all honesty, most of our roads are better than most of the town roads. So, I just would like you guys to consider the fact that the burden that you're gonna be putting on us if you decide not to do it. The other issue is we pay equal taxes like anyone else in town for services, the same services everyone else gets. So that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Morning, my name's Dale Doobie, 24 Beach Road, Otis Lake Shores. My family has been in East Haddam for 47 years, and I've paid taxes for 47 years. I've been in the association for 45 years, and the town has been handling our road situation with regards to snow removal since I moved in there. And I would hope that would continue. I've got a question for you. What prompted this to even come up as a topic? Why are we here? Something caused the town to look at this, and what was that? You don't know?
No
No
idea.
one knows?
No.
How it came up? Why the meeting's here? No one. Thank you.
Mary Beth Mordecai, 1 Lakeview Road. I just found out about this late last night, so my questions and my understanding of it is minimal, I have to say. So I'm just gonna throw out questions. I know you don't answer them in this format, but like you, I was wondering what precipitated it, and I'm assuming it's money. So I'm wondering what the financial repercussions and, you know, everything else is for that. The other thing, like everyone else, when I moved in almost 30 years ago, I was the secretary of our little association, and someone gave me all of the newspaper and all of the communication from that time, from way back. And they had a lot about the roads and a lot of back and forth. And my understanding is that the town takes care of it because of liability. And if they don't take care of it, the emergency vehicles won't be able to get there in an emergency. So, like I said, call it what you will, but I'm assuming it's a money decision and not a safety decision or quality of life decision for those of us that live there. I also don't understand this well, so I might be wrong, but I thought that on the lakes, we have a designation, a different tax designation. I don't know if that's true or not. And if we pay a little bit of a premium because we live on the lakes, I don't know if that's right, but I've seen LR on my thing, and somebody told me that one time, but I never looked it up, so I'm not saying that that's right. But we do pay our fair share of taxes, just like everyone else in this town, and I think that we should get the benefit of snow removal. We have to take care of our own roads as far as maintenance goes, and that's costly and gets more costly every year. And to take that away, I just am not sure why we as taxpayers don't get that same benefit. Thank you.
I don't really have very much more to add, but I will say that I'm going to be 87 years old and I have been living in my association for 20 years. And I did slip on the ice where it should have been sanded, and I did have a concussion, and I did have to be taken to the emergency room to make sure I wasn't going to die, which I did not do, obviously, as I'm here. But I just want to be an example that it is dangerous for us to be on those roads when they're not adequately taken care of. So.
Anyone else? Okay, I will speak to just this general conversation. as far as answering the question as to why we're here, we did receive several emails from many of you here in the audience today in regards to the storm where we had a couple inches of snow and you guys were wondering whether or not we were gonna be plowing. My understanding is that the town will plow for emergencies. So if there is an emergency, the town crew is out immediately to make sure that that emergency vehicle gets in and out of our private road associations. My understanding also is the private road associations are not the town's responsibility to take care of. We can't do anything about those roads. Some of those roads are barely roads, from my understanding. I do think that it's important that we all sit and have a meeting, you know, separate from a first selectman meeting, because I don't think that, you know, coming and yelling and screaming at us and we yelling and screaming back at you, I think we do need to sit and talk about this. The issue with private roads, my understanding again, is that if the roads were to become roads that are able for us to take care of, we can then take on the road and take care of that road. But many of these roads and many of the associations, and I've driven several of them in the last few days because of the conversations that we've been having, many of these roads are literally sand. They're not roads that a truck can get in and out of. The other thing about the roads, from what I hear, is that some of them need to be maintained in regards to trees and brush along the sides of the road for the trucks to even get in there. So there's a lot of problems with us maintaining the roads with our trucks because the roads literally are not passable for our trucks. So I think it's definitely worth a conversation, definitely worth talking about further. We're not gonna solve it obviously this morning, but I want to make sure that, and rest assured that you guys know that if there is an emergency somewhere, our town crew is able and ready and will be right there to make sure that any kind of emergency vehicle can get in and out of you and take care of you. So we are required to make sure that the emergency vehicles can get in and out. We're not necessarily required to plow your roads every single time there's snow that falls. But if there's an emergency situation, we are there, we will take care of it, the emergency vehicle will get in and out. So I just want you to at least go away knowing that, you know, we are definitely there, we're not, you know, disappearing, we're not gonna not take care of you, we are. Understand that you all pay taxes, but I do think it's worth, and I actually was talking to our public works director about having a meeting with anybody who wants to come in from the road association or the private associations. These are private associations, they're private roads. Many of the associations that we have in town are not even associations anymore from what I hear. Some of them have become defunct, and that's really hard for some of you who live in those areas that don't have associations and aren't, you know, having the organized, you know, methods that you need to take care of the roads. So I get it. At the same time, they're private roads. Is it a money issue? Yeah, I guess it could be a money issue, but more of it's, you know, you talk about liability. We're liable to go into those roads with our trucks and then our trucks get hurt or whatever else. So I mean, there's all kinds of liabilities going on back and forth. So they're private roads. Technically, we're not supposed to be taking care of them. Technically, we are gonna make sure that you get in and out when there's an emergency situation. So that's the only thing I can offer today, but I would really offer a meeting where we can all sit down and talk about it and talk about how we can do this. What can we do to make sure that, I know that our public works department has been in and out of these private roads associations with material. They've filled in some big holes when, you know, you've had them. And this is, you know, above and beyond what we're supposed to be doing with private roads. But we do need to do something about it. The population is aging. Therefore, we don't have as many people in there be able to, you know, maintain the roads the way they should be maintained for us to get in and out. So, you know, we do need to talk about it. I do think that we need to have a conversation. And if you all will, you know, if on the list of, you know, who signed in, if there's a phone number or an email, I will, you know, pick a date, we'll get a date together and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it, if everybody's agreeable to that. Great. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you coming, and I do appreciate you guys hearing about, you know, listening to, we appreciate listening to what you guys have been dealing with, and we'll do what we can do.
Just one question. You had mentioned responding in an emergency situation. Any thoughts about prior to an emergency to make sure that those accommodations are there, rather than just responding to an emergency? Preparation for an emergency, is that what you're talking about as well?
If there's an emergency, if somebody has a fire, if somebody has fallen and needs an ambulance and they can't get through because the roads are bad, our town crew will be there to open up that road so that you can get in and out.
So require another vehicle to go there before the emergency vehicle, so the emergency vehicle can get there?
correct.
So
If that's the problem, if that's the issue, you know, if
In
there's.
an emergency, that could be a situation where you've got to assign a truck and a driver and get in there before the emergency vehicle can get there. In an emergency situation, that can be very critical, could it not?
Could take it
Yes.
out.
Timeframe,
Yes.
okay.
That's unacceptable. To me.
I just wanted to mention that it looks like your YouTube broadcast got cut off.
Okay. Great, thank you.
I mean, to be clear, we've got 40 years of precedent, we're paying taxes. These roads, well, all of us as residents and having been here, came to these properties, many of us since this precedent had been set, with the expectation that this was a service the town was providing. Now you're telling us, or now this change leaves us in a position, one, where we have an additional financial obligation as homeowners in the town that we never anticipated. It impacts the value of our properties. And as somebody here said, we're all lakefront owners, or many of us are lakefront owners. We have a reasonable burden of tax in the town already. At the end of the day, the precedent, the financial implications are one thing, but it's too late for you to show up, for the town to show up with a plow when an ambulance is called or when a fire truck is called. At that point, we're already losing precious seconds and people's lives are at stake. This is just, I think for all of us, it's not an acceptable option.
Okay, we'll discuss it at the meeting.
Okay, can we get that meeting in this month?
Absolutely, January.
Cause we've had 3 fires, we've only been here 8 years, and there's been 3 fires in our neighborhood. Like, one burned down, and then twice, these same people, so, we lose electricity all the time, I can't even make a phone call. So, it's gonna be an emergency, if somebody hit, you know, it's just, the town has noticed that, we need to have this maintained for emergency, and has accepted that in the past.
Just, Aaron, just let me say that we need the roads to be cleared to prevent these emergencies. That's the real issue for us. We don't want these emergencies to happen. In my case, had the road been cleared, I wouldn't have slipped and fall. So you see, that's the problem. It's too late. So
Understood,
just mention
thank you. Yep, I got it. Okay,
I just have one last thing.
sure.
I would also just question some of the things that you were saying today and you were saying apparently. A lot of the facts that you were posing today, I do not believe are accurate. I do not believe that our community has requested you to fill potholes. Yet, we've gotten that response from the road foreman, Gary Metz. And I don't know why Gary Metz is giving responses to people. I don't know why the Public Works isn't responding to people. And I don't understand why this group isn't responding that this is what's happening. There are other things that you spoke today, and I'm not gonna get into specifics of what you have said that I don't believe is accurate, but I think just because you said it because someone else said it, I don't think it's true.
Okay, well, when we sit down in January, when we have a meeting, I'll have Public Works with us and we can discuss the kind of work that's been done at your roads and what we can do going forward and what is necessary for the roads to be in a certain level of maintenance, okay, by the association so that we can work together in making sure that everybody's in as whole as we can be.
And what do you have to say about the policy that the town of East Haddam has always taken care of these roads? That they have deemed it a emergency
I don't know,
service?
I would like to see where that policy is written
And where it's changed.
and where it's
I don't know
changed.
why it
Yeah,
changed all of a
also,
sudden.
who has made this decision? Cause it wasn't just, 5 years it hasn't happened, we're coming back. Someone made a decision this year to affect a budget and not communicate it when it was voted on, not to communicate it when it was approved, so that if we had to do it, we had ample time. You know you cannot get a plow guy in January to come and do an entire unit. That's impossible. And then when we complained or we called with concerns, we got stonewalled. We don't do that. Oh, okay, so the day it snowed, everyone in the Public Works Department, the Director of Public Works Department, knew that these communities were not gonna get plowed, and as long as they didn't either pick up the phone or have to talk to anybody, it wasn't an issue.
Okay, I think, again, I think we need to look at whatever policies people have you know, going back in history and different conversations and different people have been grandfathered in and not grandfathered in. There's plenty of private roads out there that are taking care of their own roads. I don't know what the difference is between what's going on at the Moodus Lake Shores or Sipple Hill or all these other associations. Some of them been grandfathered in, some of them haven't, like, how do we pick? Everybody's taxpayers. So I think we should have a meeting, we should talk about it, we should have whatever policies have been in place or not been in place. Let's see what's in writing, let's see what's not in writing, and let's figure it out.
So
And
how
I'm
do
happy to do that.
So how do we get snow removal if there's a big storm before this meeting?
I know.
Because I don't think that we can just call up now and get someone to come and plow our roads. I mean, there's a lot of roads between all of the associations. And that would have been something that would have had to be probably done, like I think this gentleman said, you know, long ago. If we have a foot of snow next Tuesday, we're not gonna be able to have our roads plowed. Nobody's gonna,
4 inches would be all right.
Yeah, that help, I know.
And then ice that comes after that.
At this point, it represents an issue with us being able to do something about it and being able to afford to do something about it because we had no advance notice. Somebody flipped a switch, didn't bother to tell us until we started calling. It's just, it's poor, it's poor.
Yeah, I have to tell you, personally, I never knew that we took care of private roads. The only roads that I knew that we took care of that were private were the ones that got paved up at Lake Hayward, that's it.
To be clear, the town has only provided plowing and sanding. They have done no maintenance to the Sipple Hill Association in the 12 years we've been here. And I believe ever. So
And that's why there's
none.
all.
And any requests have been denied anyway, so.
We've repeatedly requested it, but we've been denied every time.
Requested what? I'm sorry.
Road support, help,
Assistance, help.
help with providing equipment, we'll pay for the materials, help with providing labor, we'll pay, we were willing to pay for that. And we've been denied, but the town has only provided sanding and plowing.
No road repair, no road maintenance
This is for Sipple Hill.
for Sipple Hill.
Our main road was just paved. It's beautiful.
We paved.
We paved
We
it.
paved it.
Just one final question. First of all, thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity to discuss it. We appreciate that. Is it your understanding that we will continue to get our roads plowed until such time this is resolved?
Yeah.
At this time, I can't answer to that. I have to check with Public Works.
Check with who?
Check with Public Works.
We would
They're the
appreciate
ones
it.
that are gonna determine it?
I will check and see what the capacity is of Public Works to be able to do that.
Okay. Has the
Why has it
capacity of
changed since
public
last
works been diminished since last year? Or do you have the same amount of trucks and people on the payroll now, do you know?
We call in people to do additional plowing every storm.
Okay, and that's been working out for years. Okay, thank you.
Who does the Department of Public Works answer to in our town?
They work for me, they
Okay.
work for us.
Okay, okay.
And are they not staffed all the way? I don't know, I keep hearing stuff about Public Works, it's just Facebook, so I don't really know.
At the end of the summer, fall last year, 2 Public Works employees were laid off and the monies were shifted over to tree removal. So we have 4 labor workers and we have 1 mechanic, we have 1 road foreman, we have 1 director. And so in a storm, we have 5 people, 6 people on the road in our trucks, and we call in more contractors to plow.
So
Which we
my
do.
road has
Even-
always been
even
done
last
by
year
a
we did the same
contractor.
thing.
I don't think I've ever seen a town truck, our road has
Right.
always been done by contractors.
Because the smaller truck can get in there, cause our big
Right,
trucks
right.
can't.
Well, I can, whatever it is.
We have had town trucks along with private contractors doing our roads. The one thing I would say is, as far as the grandfathering in, like I said, 70 years, we've been doing ours. If you wanna know who was grandfathered in, just ask the foreman and the director of public works who they decided not to do this year. And you'll know, then you'll have your list of who's grandfathered in. because they've been doing them every year.
Alright, well, I'll make sure that they're at this meeting that we have as well.
Right, but you should, that's questions I would think you'd wanna know ahead of time before this meeting.
Okay.
I think I heard you say effectively though, there's been no change in the ability for the town to support plowing our roads this year. This was just an and that leads to the implication this was an arbitrary decision by somebody or some bodies within the town. So I think the question still remains, if it snows tomorrow and we get 6 inches of snow, is the town coming in to continue the service that they've provided us for the last 40 or 70 years?
And I told you I'd have to check on that. and get back to you.
Okay, that would be great, we appreciate it.
Anything else? Okay, again, thank you all for coming and I appreciate it, and I'll be back in touch when we're gonna put together a meeting with our Public Works Department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Moving on, did you guys have a chance to take a look at the draft ordinance on the automated traffic enforcement safety devices?
I did, yes.
Just so you know, there's in the new version that Linda gave us, there's some highlighted things, those are things that we have to check to make sure that all the codes are correct for us. This was, we used the one that we got from Kent,
Kent,
so some of these might be,
and I had to
need to fix.
transpose it from a PDF to a Word document, sometimes the
Yeah,
OCR reader
formatting.
sometimes it
doesn't always pick up the numbers correctly, so
Yeah.
I went through and I redid it last night, I didn't have time to do it before, so I sent you the draft anyway. So I will check out all those numbers.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask you guys about was I checked in with our state trooper and she suggested that when we do this, we do 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. But I changed it to 15 miles over the speed limit just because I didn't know if it sounds ridiculous that I'm upping it, but at the same time, I'm thinking that people are gonna get upset with us, clearly. But at the same time, maybe we can move it later and go down to 10 if we need to, but I just figured, you know, give people a little slack. You know, even 15 is a lot, but I don't know, we can change it, I mean, it's up to you.
One of my notes that I had was I put 11.
You put 11?
Because honestly,
Yeah,
as far as I know, troopers or anybody in law enforcement, if they're doing traffic control, 10 is the grace,
yeah,
up to 10.
Yeah.
And then anything over that, somewhere they have to have a hard line.
so they stop at 11?
So again, that's not everybody, but
No, I know.
your suggestion of 15 is a little bit more of a grace, that's,
Yeah,
know.
To me, that
I mean, we have little
weekend
roads.
15 is too high, it just weakens it to a point, you know.
cause at 20, you're
Like
actually
you guys are
at certain
talking.
speeds, you're actually at public
Yeah,
safety.
cause if the speed limit is 45, 15 is 60, like that's crazy, you need to get a ticket well before that. in my
So you wanna change it to 11?
10 or 11, I think, is more
Is better?
within the sort of,
The 10 was just, like I said, if we were using round numbers or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever it's set at, you give that grace period.
Well, she said 10, so if you
10,
guys are okay with 10.
11 is okay, I think 10 is just a rounder, nicer number.
Alright, well,
I think 15 is definitely too high, too high.
alright, we'll change it back to 10. Not a problem, I'm happy to do that. Was there anything else in your notes there that you had? Go ahead.
So the fees, just to make sure I'm getting my facts straight, we're getting 2 for the price of 1 because of the discount, the quick start discount, is that correct?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so the price, it looks like it's
Oh, you're-
$23,000 per camera,
Oh, gotcha, okay,
right?
okay.
Um,
You're not talking about the,
We're not talking about the
the
ordinance.
ordinance, no, I'm going back into
Okay.
making sure before we even get to the ordinance, we're happy with the program that we're doing.
gotcha,
So I just wanna make
Okay.
sure that that's what actual numbers is 23,148,
right, but yes, we're getting 2 cameras.
getting 2 cameras. Keep going back to the administration part of it, as far as who's running it, how much does that cost?
So, What?
I hesitate to go back to like the old statement of pass it and then we'll know what's in it. So before we go to ordinance, let's find out how we're paying for it.
Right, so how it would work would be that the machine does what the machine does. It sends out, it basically automates a list of people that are speeding. That list gets sent to probably the trooper, okay? So I have to check with the trooper to see if they're gonna handle the list. They verify that this is indeed a speeder at this amount, and then the system automatically sends out the ticket, and automatically the person, this is all done, on the backside of it, and that's what our $15 is paying for. There's different ways in which business or towns have been doing this. Some of them have actually, like Middletown's gonna do it, but they have a court. So they're actually doing appeals in court and all that kind of stuff. We're not gonna do that, because we don't have that, and to set up that infrastructure is ridiculous. So basically, there's certain criteria that they can negate the ticket for. And they can go through and they can pick one and they can say this, and that, and it comes back to the trooper says yay or nay, and that's it, they pay the fine. If they don't pay the fine, we could do collections, and actually that can be done automated as well. But that's all within that $15 fee, it's actually $13. So that's all done by that.
Through the company.
Through the
So the
company,
outsourced
yeah.
company, that, again, I don't have any issue
Okay.
with that. I didn't know, we didn't make any decisions on anything, so.
No,
Before we
didn't.
go to an ordinance, I wanted to make sure that we had our T's crossed here.
Yeah, no, I get it, sure. No, and that's why, some of these things have to be done simultaneously, so we have to get the ordinance through to say that we can actually use this system. And then what this has to do is between the ordinance and the actual plan, which is basically the ordinance plus what we're doing with this company, they're gonna write up the plan, and that has to go to Connecticut DOT for Connecticut DOT to even say it's okay for us to do it. So it's kind of they both things have to rise kind of together. So we have to get approved in order to do it.
I don't know why we'd go through the trouble of getting an ordinance together if we didn't already, are not approved.
Well, part of us getting approved is to make sure that we have it in the ordinance that we can do it. If they kind of go hand in hand. Questions?
Not on that part of it. I guess my question would be, you said you hadn't spoken to the trooper about whether or not this is something that they can take on, and I don't know if I don't remember asking the gentleman who did the demonstration. And I don't even know that he would know, but do we have a feel for how much time this, whether it's the trooper or somebody else, do we have a feel of how much time?
That would take to go
Yeah,
through
like what
everything.
kind of time commitment this is gonna be.
Yeah, it's not a big time commitment, apparently it's pretty quick.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah, that's what he did say in his
So it doesn't warrant like a whole nother person or
Oh, gosh,
position or
no.
anything like that, but at the same time, it won't be taking the trooper away from any kind of
No.
important thing that they may not have to do otherwise, okay.
So the other thing too is that in congruence with these things, we're still working on the testing, right? We still have the test going on, so we'll see what we get from that.
I was gonna say, have we gotten an initial report of any
No,
sort
not
yet?
No, we're still in the middle of it, so as soon as we get all that back, then we have all the pieces in place, right?
When you say trooper, you mean, do you mean the state trooper or one of our town?
Town trooper, state trooper, our state trooper, who does admin, that's their ultimate role. Yeah.
So that's kind of, in your mind, that's who would be handling this. So then I guess my only other question would be, I read sort of the list of, I don't wanna say excuses, but reasons,
Yep.
explanations where people might have a reason to appeal the ticket. It did say that list were examples and it wasn't limited to that list, so the policy you just described wouldn't allow for somebody to have an actual personal, like go to the trooper or someone else and explain and state their case if it was outside of those, some other thing that had come up.
Yeah.
So that concerns me a little bit, you know, I would like to see a little bit more room for somebody to be able to just explain themselves in a more personal sort of, not online text box kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've checked into, you know, other towns and the way they do it, and like I said, for those who have courthouses, you know, and they can have a face-to-face appeal, they can do it. You know, I mean, it's up to us if we want to, for the fees that we collect, we could hire somebody to be a hearing officer for it. But, you know, I don't even know how many people would want to
Yeah,
have
and I
hearings,
don't think
you know?
it'll be a large amount of people, but I would just like us to kind of have that, you know, contingency somewhere in, you know, at least as an option for someone,
Yeah.
should that become necessary. I'm also wondering,
Maybe look at like shared services on that, see if
Yeah.
somebody else.
Selectman could be here.
Yeah,
Are you hedging your bets? Is that what you're doing?
no.
Are you preparing for getting a ticket or?
Well, you know, there's that. But I just always like to play devil's advocate. Cause
I
one
mean,
of the things.
Linda just mentioned we could do Board of Selectmen be the hearing.
Yeah, but so, because Eric, one of the things that, I think this is a really good idea. But in the back, everything goes to the owner of the vehicle. And while I get that's how it has to happen, cause it's gonna track your license plate. You know, there's people that have teenage kids and driving the car, you know, like, so I just wanna make sure that we're allowing for at least people to state their case, right, or
Yeah.
however that ends.
Have recourse to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten tickets because my daughter went too fast through a construction zone in Delaware or something,
Right, so, you know, I get that's how the systems work and I think they're good and we certainly should probably learn to do it, but I just wanna make sure that there's ways for people to explain those sorts of circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, we could look into that, we could, I could see what other towns are doing, or whether we could share services, or as Linda just mentioned, you know, we could do the Board of Selectmen be the hearing officer if, you know, see what that looks like.
And does
So-
does that process need to be in your plan? It's all my question, like,
Yeah, it
you
would
have
have
to
to be
state
added
all
to the
that
plan.
out when, pass the ordinance
I
into
would think
the
so, yeah.
actual plan.
Just, when I get my ticket, I won't appeal it, I promise.
Okay.
That's why they have 2/3 here.
That's right. Do you have more on your list?
There was one section, and again, maybe it's already corrected in the new draft, but it was on section H. There's just a couple spelling things, but again, maybe that,
Yeah, I
'cause I
caught a
can't
bunch
find
that
it.
said line instead of fine.
yeah, there was male spelled MALE.
Yeah, I caught quite a few of
Um,
those, so.
It's amazing how this changed. You know, I mean, I
Yeah,
found
there was,
lines
anyway,
and
there
lines.
was, as long as you're going through.
Yeah,
I
I went
didn't
through,
check
so
obviously the new draft.
if you look at this and you see any other changes as you're reviewing this, and like I say, I have to check all the numbers, cause the OCR reader doesn't
And it's,
doesn't always pick them up, and then I need to change under vendors, it talks about chapter 32 of the code. That's probably either Washington's or Kent's
Yeah, we gotta
chapter
put
for
ours in.
purchasing, I have to put in, and like I say, I was doing this last night, so I didn't have everything in front of me.
we didn't set fees as far as total amounts, obviously. The $15 is attached, but the $15 is a hard number, correct? That's what the fee schedule is from the company who runs it, right? That's just to cover their cost. That's attached automatically to the citation fee, correct?
Correct. So that goes to them, and then the 50 and the 75 come to us directly. And then we use it for whatever, you know.
Yeah,
enforcement.
again, initial thoughts were this is supposed to be, you know, I think the statement was made because of our constable force or however, obviously we're not up to full. Is this also a way that we can keep that number low, so we're not trying to hire more?
Well,
Or
we're
are we still the
still,
plan still to do this plus hire more constables?
first of all, with 120 miles worth of road, we can't enforce speed on our roads. Other than this week, the biggest complaint I have is speeding. It's terrible. And I get them all over the town, all over, it's state roads, private roads, it doesn't matter, people are just driving recklessly and too fast. We've had the speed enforcement, things on the sides of the roads, and we keep moving them around, and it just doesn't change behavior, maybe tickets will. And so that's what this is, it has nothing to do with what we're doing as far as our police, police force. Our police force, we have one full-timer right now who is our school resource officer. All the rest of our officers now are part-time, which means we basically have like 1.5 officers plus a state trooper on the road, which is not, we used to have 4 full-timers. So I'm looking to put on more. We can't seem to get them. We may have to look at our budget and increase the pay for officers in order to get them here. I don't know what else to do about it. We don't have enough officers, we just don't. Our first full-time police officer, who's the school resource officer, was out ticketing yesterday and the day before because there hasn't, not yesterday, but the week between Christmas and New Year's because he didn't have school. So he was out working, and he's been the only guy who's been out there getting tickets to speeders. And he picked up, like, in the course of 2 hours on Falls Road, he picked up 3 or 4 of them. And that's only because he's available and he's able to do it. But even our part-timers are not nearly doing it. And it's just, there's just not enough people on the roads. And to me, our job is public safety. And we have to do what we can do to make sure that, this town is safe. And, we've got issues and we do need more officers. So I'm not saying that this is going to solve it, but it might give us some income. Or maybe it'll just change, between the income and changing, behavior of people on the roads, it'll be a safer place. So I don't think one goes with the other. I don't think, by putting up this thing, all of a sudden we don't need any police officers. We can only put it up in one place. 2 places. Yeah, that's it. So I mean, it's not gonna solve our problems. But it is gonna give us some income and maybe pay for additional police officers. But I think we still need the officers.
So we're still looking at more than likely putting these by the school, or we haven't made that determination till we get our report from the test run?
I'm sorry, say again?
Putting them by the school,
These
these
things?
AS.
Oh,
Have
no,
we-
not necessarily.
Okay.
We're testing
So we're waiting for the report.
Town Street, yep. And then we're gonna check Falls Road and I don't know if this is the order, and East Haddam, Colchester Turnpike. Those little 3 roads we're gonna do the test on. So
right now, are we looking at just 2, cause I think I'm remembering correctly that you said they're one directional?
the testing thing is one direction.
Oh, but
But the cameras are,
the cameras are not, okay. So we're looking at, if we're looking at 2, we're looking at two different locations, two separate sites.
Yeah.
We're paying for these when? Next budget?
probably, by the time we get through all that we have to get through to get there.
Oh, they're on state bid?
They are on state bid list, yeah. Yep. All right, so I'll look into the hearing officer thing. And see what that means and what people are doing there. And we'll do a formal,
I guess
edit of this.
my last question would be,
Yeah.
unless you guys wanna discuss the fees on this, but just procedurally, do we have any idea, once, if we pass a resolution in the ordinance, once that gets kicked up to the state, do we have any feel for how long that process takes?
I don't think it takes very long from the sounds of what Brendan Knox said in regards to this whole program. It's a fairly, seamless process. Like once you get it all put together, it's pretty much set it up and you're done. So yeah, it doesn't
So
take long.
theoretically, this could be up and running by the late spring, early summer.
Yeah, I would say.
Now, is there something that you can double check? I thought they said that this doesn't affect your DMV,
Doesn't
points
affect
on
your
your license.
insurance, doesn't.
And it doesn't affect your insurance. But when I listened to the news, the first selectman of Washington was on, I don't know, Channel 3 one day, and they were talking about this, and I guess it's going into New Haven and a couple other places. He said, it's gonna make people think because now it's gonna cost them money, and he talked about increase on their insurance. So I wanna double check that because
Yeah,
he
my
said that,
understanding is
I
does
don't
not.
know if he was
Double
wrong in
check
what
it.
he stated in the news, but I thought it didn't affect insurance rates.
Yeah, I'm under the impression it does not.
Yeah, I
But we
didn't
can
think
check
so
it.
either until I heard him talk on the news.
Yeah,
That's good to check.
no, and again, more, this is honestly, it's to change behavior, right? It's to slow people down, it's to realize that, you're gonna get a ticket if you're driving 10 miles over the speed limit, like stop, slow down. And hopefully we can make a difference. It's crazy. So, we will revisit.
You mentioned the fines earlier, Eric. Did you have thoughts on them or?
No, the only question I had was whether that $15 was attached automatically to that, which it sounds like it is.
So the first ticket is 65.
Right.
And then the second ticket is 80.
90.
90. Thank you.
Just thinking about the speed, your suggestion of 15 was not off base, cause I'm just thinking of specific roads. 10 miles an hour on certain roads is way different than others, so yeah, you can catch yourself at 15, on maybe
Yeah.
wider, more improved roads than you can, you know what I mean, like, or
Town Street.
Yeah, if you're coming down Town
go on
Street,
Town
yeah.
Street, or as opposed to.
Well, they clocked somebody at 72 going down Town Street. This was like 2 AM in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is fine, nobody's there, it's just him or her or whoever it was.
Right.
But 72 miles an hour down Town Street,
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that that's acceptable, I'm just,
that's crazy.
let's keep it.
Alright, so we'll circle back on that, we'll get it taken care of. The Three Bridges Cemetery discussion, we're still waiting on some information on that, right, Linda, so we can't.
Yeah, we haven't got the letter from the property owner yet that says they wanna give it to us.
Right, so just so you guys are aware, Three Bridges Cemetery is a cemetery that is on somebody's personal property, their property, it's not the town's property, however, we're looking to basically get it from them. They have said that they want to give it to us, but we're waiting for a letter from the people to make sure it's formally. Our cemetery committee was thinking that they could just go and take it. And I proceeded to tell them, no, they can't just take it, that we need to have a conversation with the people who own it, which Don Angersola, our facilities director, did. And they were in agreement that they would be happy to hand it over to the town, it's not something that they wanna maintain. And they felt that it really should be the town's piece of property and that the town should maintain it, which it comes at a price because it needs a lot of work, there's a lot of trees that are dead and dying near it, and we need to at least get in there and do some clear cutting of, the branches, the higher branches, to make it so that if the trees do come down, they go down into the woods as opposed to onto the cemetery. But our cemetery troopers have been up there doing some maintenance on some of the older veterans stones and that kind of thing, so it's a pretty remarkable piece of cemetery actually. However, we wanna do it the right way and we're not gonna just take things. We're gonna, work with the people, and I think that'll happen, but we're waiting on that, so until we get that letter, we'll wait. Next item is grant acceptance from the Historic Document Preservation Grant. this is a packet from the Connecticut State Library is in your packet regarding an award of this grant. It's a $5,500 grant, and it's we need a motion to recommend to the Board of Finance and then to the town meeting the adoption of the following resolution. Resolved that a grant in the amount of $5,500 is hereby accepted from the State of Connecticut State Library for the purpose of historic document preservation, and that Irene M. Haynes, first selectman, is empowered to execute and deliver in the name and on behalf of this municipality a contract within the Connecticut State Library for an historic document preservation grant. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. And then last but not least, we have some committee changes. First, we have a let's see, Commission on Aging. We need a motion to appoint Heather Hunt to fill a 3-year vacant term to expire on June 30th, 2025 as a regular member of the Commission on Aging. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, Heather Hunt. And then a motion to appoint Thomas O'Brien to fill a vacancy of 1-year term to expire June 30th, 2025 as an alternate member of the Commission on Aging. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Tax refunds, we have a motion to award the tax refunds in the amounts as presented. $333.83 to Timothy Godes, $137.06 to CCAP Auto Lease Ltd, $762.49 to JP Morgan Chase NA, and $651.57 to CCAP Auto Lease Ltd. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Any other liaison reports or other things you guys wanna discuss?
Sustainability took the month off for holidays, so.
Mike?
Yeah, so this YouTube issue that we're having, that's one thing we wanna, I've been getting a little bit of feedback from chairmans. Why are we having this issue? And that's not an answer that you can give right now, but maybe Matt in and have him.
Because we switched to the new system and there were some bugs to work out, which they have worked out, for the most part. But a number of them were human error. Either part of IT set it up to the wrong room or whatever, or the chairman, like redevelopment agency, it was running fine. I don't know why they thought they weren't running, and then they just started playing with buttons and then they blew it.
Could I suggest that we bring in all chairmen and have a roundtable and go through, and even if there isn't
I
an
have showed every single
I mean a formal
board how to do it.
I hate this.
I've
Be the
given a
stickler,
class,
but-
I have handwritten instructions that I've handed to each of the chairmen on how to run the system. I don't, a number of times, and there are some that got it, and there are some that just don't get it. Yeah. It's not a difficult process. Like today, there's an issue, and I've already emailed IT, because we were running live, and all of a sudden the live stream stopped. Why? We're still recording. So they will download the recording and we will upload the whole thing as one document. But why the live stream stopped, I don't know. It's what I'm gonna talk to IT about as soon as I get out of here.
I'll still voice, I think it would be helpful.
I'm with Eric on that, cause printed instructions are great and useful and helpful, but I like to see somebody demonstrate. That's how I
Maybe you
learn
can take their
best.
finger I get it, I mean, we're going through the same thing.
There were some bugs recently because of the new system. And there's some people that didn't know, like how to work the new system and the people that I showed how to do it, like now I've showed like 3 different people on the redevelopment agency how to do it. And 2 out of the 3 weren't there and the third one that was there just forgot.
And it's repetition too, right? It's practice and you have a month,
I
you
think
know,
a
1
historic
month.
district commission using it right,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, they're
Yeah,
good,
they can use it right.
they're doing good.
Just a suggestion.
So I'll do what I can to make that happen, it's just difficult to get them all here, you know, they can't come during the day, Matt can't necessarily stay every night, that there's a meeting, so I've also, if they have a problem, I've trained the nighttime custodian on how to run the system. And I've told every board and commission, if you're having any problems, you know, Sean will help you. If I know there's a commission that doesn't run it really well, like redevelopment or EDC, and I can't be here that night to do it, I usually text Sean to tell him to hang out at the door
Right.
until they're running. So we try. And I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to get all the chairmen and the IT here at the same time.
Even if you have to break it in a couple different meetings, whatever, just to. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, that's been a hot topic.
Yeah, like I say, a lot of it in the beginning was just the changeover of the new system, there was some bugs to work out.
And then lastly, if I can be assistance on this private road thing, but I have to be careful, I can't attend obviously, because if you're there, then I can't be there.
Oh.
So,
It could be a board of selectmen meeting. You just have to post it and it, you know, if you both wanna be there, or all 3 of you wanna be there and have input on this.
I personally,
It can be a posted meeting and then you're
I think that's probably a better way to go, personally. But I'll leave that decision to you guys. I would definitely would like to attend and will do my best to be there, so. I don't think having it be a board of a selectmen meeting would be inappropriate, but I'll leave that to you two.
Yeah, I'll talk to Public Works and see what they wanna do and how they wanna do it. We can do that.
And I just wanna let you know, for next meeting, I'm hoping to have a little bit of a schedule for February's budget season. So if there's any issues in February, I would be like if you wanna do it like we've done it in the past, I usually pick 2 Saturdays. I usually pick a day, like a Tuesday, all day to bring in all the people from, you know, the in this building that can come during the day, but it would require Eric, you know, a day off like last time for Eric. I'm not sure what your daytime schedule's like. But it would be like one day during the week, all day, like 9 to 4. I'll bring in as many as I can, that are here during the day. 2 Saturdays, and then probably 2 like 4:30 to or 5 o'clock to like 9 o'clock during the week. So if there's any days that you're not available, if you could email me days to stay away from, I'll try to set something up.
Sure.
And so I'll have a schedule for the next meeting.
I'll check my schedule. I'll email you when I get home.
That'd be great.
Right, if there's no
And
further business.
just a quick procedural question, on you know, how we're structuring our meetings. Usually we do correspondence at the beginning, you had said we had no correspondence, but I know that Ward had reached out and sent emails to all 3 of us, so.
I guess we could have
I
included
just
that.
didn't have it all, you sent it to the 3 of you, I didn't have it to
Okay.
print,
See,
because
that
you
that
didn't
was
send
my
it to
question,
me.
procedurally,
I
that's
didn't
what
have
I
it.
was,
I
okay,
didn't have it, I got one thing from you that I
Okay,
did get, but
right,
it was
okay.
like with the holiday and everything, it was like
no,
after
no,
the
I
fact,
just,
but
I'm just trying to,
if they don't copy me, I
understand-
can't help
right,
to
okay,
get it there for you guys.
exactly, okay.
Alright, well, there's no further business, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Alright, thank you so much for coming, good to see you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, Linda.
the recording off.
I should have known that.